Hello again, everyone. Today I am here with another What's in My Pen Case video, and this time it is my 20 pen Galen leather case, and this is in the Crazy Horse Brown. This is kind of my favorite color from Galen, and I have a lot of different cases in this particular color. I've noticed that the last one or two items that I've gotten in this particular color have been more consistent with prior products with the same color name. So I just wonder if at some point they were having some sort of transition, or, you know, things were getting a little mixed up where they were making them. I don't know. But this 20 pen case is actually really, really beautiful, and I absolutely love it. Right now I have a certain set of pens in here, which I will show you in a minute, but I wanted to show it to you now because I am going to be swapping out what I have in here, and I'm going to be making this my Franklin Christoph case because I have expanded beyond the number of slots that I had in the little tool roll that I showed you before for Franklin Christoph. I'll put a link down below to that video. But for now, I have all TWSBI brand pens in here. And I also wanted to test out these pens for you so that you can kind of see the difference in both similar size nibs for TWSBI and, you know, just some variety of different TWSBI pens and nibs. Plus, I think I have one or two special nibs in here. I might only have one. I can't remember. We'll find out when we go through. And to test the pens out today, I have my Galen A5 Folio, which is in this nude color. And I'm just going to go right in and show you each pen briefly and then do testing in here. So let's go ahead and open this so that we can get going. And I still have Nemesine paper in here. I am approaching the end of my Nemesine book, so we will probably be switching out to a different kind of paper soon. I still have some of the old Tomoe River paper back here, but I might end up switching to a different brand of fountain pen friendly paper, but we'll see how it goes. So before I zoom in a little bit, I'm going to open this case up and show you how all of these are sitting in here. So basically I have all of my TWSBI Ecos with one caveat. I have one, well, it's not really mine, it's my husband's. So he has the bright orange demonstrator version. And then he also has one of my Diamond 580 minis. He has the clear one. So those are not in here. I plan to, I think he's going to be keeping those forever because he likes them very much. So I still have a couple of extra slots here. But like I said, I am going to be switching these over to a different case so that I can put my Franklin Christophs in here. Just because, you know, I feel like if I'm going to have a special case, these can fit in my 40 pen case, which is where I was putting the Franklin Christophs now. I really am trying to not just automatically purchase new pens unless there is something special about them, because I have so many already. And I kind of want to make sure that the ones that I have are really, really nice and I like them. I would say there's probably only one or two of these pens that I still feel like I need to work on a little bit, because the majority of these have been tuned and smoothed by me. So to my preferences. And some of these, when I got them, were incredibly scratchy and not very enjoyable. But now, I think with the exception of this newest one, which is this purple TWSBI, they're pretty much all how I like them. So let's go ahead and get in here. I'm going to test out all of these TWSBI Ecos for you. And you're going to say like, well, they're all TWSBI Ecos. How could they be different, right? Well, for one thing, they all have different inks and they do have different nib sizes. But some of them are obviously going to be the same nib sizes, but you'll get to see that there is some variation. And like I said, I have smoothed all of these, even this one, which I'm not entirely happy with yet, so I need to work on that one some more. And then of these, I think, yeah, so I have a special nib on this purple Diamond 580 here. So these are all TWSBI Ecos. This one's a little special. It's a Bungu Box Rodden special eco, but it's functionally the same as everything else. This is a TWSBI Vac Mini. This is a TWSBI Vac 700R Iris. These three are Diamond TWSBI, or I'm sorry, TWSBI Diamond 580s. And I believe they are all the ALR versions, although this one I don't think is. The rose gold, no, it's not. So these are the ones that have sort of a different grip than this one. And then these are the TWSBI minis. So I will go ahead and get in here on the eco side. And I did make a little note over here of what I have in where so that I can tell you what inks are in each. And I'm just going to put these off to the side and then zoom in a little bit here so you can see. Oh, that's too far, I think. Let's just go there. And I will, my computer is running right now. I'm not sure why, but it's probably working on something. So that's the ambient noise that you may be hearing off to the side. So even though this one is an Eco, it's actually a slightly different model. It's the Eco T. And this is, I believe, I'm not sure which color this is. Light blue, mint, turquoise, I don't know. But it is an Eco T, which has a little bit of a different shape. You can see compared to this one, so there's fewer sides. There's really only like 3 larger sides on the top cap, and then on the inside the grip section is a little bit different as well. And I find both of them work just fine. Actually, I'm trying to figure out what the difference is in the grip section. I think that this one has a little bit of a different shape, but I can't remember, and it's hard to tell because they're both clear. But they are a little bit different. Some people find the Eco T a little bit more uncomfortable, I think. At least that's what I've heard. It's fine for me. So this is the, I'm just going to put TWSBI Ecos on top of these. TWSBI Ecos. So these are all the Ecos that I'm going to do first, and then the other side. So this is, oh, I think this is the turquoise color. So let's go ahead and call this turquoise. And this is the Eco T. I will label this one as Eco T. And this has a medium nib, I believe. And then the ink in here is Birmingham. Jade Inferno. Okay. And I'll just do a little bit of those to kind of demonstrate the difference in the size nibs here. This yellow one has an extra fine nib on it. This is just a regular Eco T, or I'm sorry, just a regular Eco. And with the Ecos, I generally post them. This has, so let's see, let's just call this the yellow with an extra fine nib. And then this has platinum carbon black. So I've been using this one for sketching. And you can't, I mean, you can get a little bit of line variation if you press it. I'm generally not doing that with the mediums, but with the extra fines, you can get, the nib is slightly soft. Well, it's not soft. See, I hate saying soft or flexible because then everybody's like, oh, that's not soft, that's not flexible. Let's just say that you can get a little bit of variation out of it. Let me make sure you can see that. Okay. And this next one has a broad nib. It is the cement gray. Go ahead and post that. So this is cement gray. And this one I've had a little trouble with it ever since I've gotten it. I don't know if it's because it's broad or if it's the particular ink that I have in here. So this is a broad nib. And then in here I have Troublemaker Petrichor, which again, you know, I put it in a broad nib because I thought that I would get more variation in the color, and it's just not really coming off very well in here. I think if you had a big swath of color, you would get some better color variation out of this ink. I've been trying to find the best place to put my two Troublemaker inks. and I don't think this is it. But this broad nib is really one of the few that I've had trouble with. So this is the Bungu Box Rodden Special Edition. I actually purchased this secondhand. I didn't buy it directly from Bungu Box. But when this came, it had a very scratchy fine nib. So this, let's call this the Bungu Box Rodden. And now it's beautiful because I have smoothed it. And this is a fine nib. And then in here I have Diamine. The habit is really hard to break on the pronunciation of Diamine. And this is Purple Rain. And with the fine, I think you can also get just a little bit of line variation, kind of like you can with the extra fine. Like I said, with the broader nibs, I'm not trying that generally. Okay, and then we have the Rose Gold Eco, the Smoke Rose Gold Eco. And this has a 1.1 stub. So let's call this Smoke Rose Gold. 1.1 stub nib, and this has Kobe Vintage Sepia. One of the things that I really like about all of the TWSBIs, really, not just the Ecos, is that you could leave ink in here forever. And at least that's been my experience, and it will not dry out. I have not experienced any dry out. Okay, and then this next one is the Golden Horse Special Edition, which is really no longer available, but this also has a fine nib on it. So this is the Golden Horse, let's say LE, because it really is a limited edition. And then in here is the only TWSBI ink, I think, that I have in any of these pens. This is a TWSBI Midnight Blue. And this particular fine nib was really beautiful right out of the box. I wonder if it's because of the rose gold coating. And again, you can get a little bit of variation there. But you can see, so this is fine and this is fine. This is now a little bit broader of a line than this fine. And part of it could be that I worked on it quite a bit to get it smooth, and I might have, you know, made it a little broader as I was doing that. And then next we have the White Rose Gold Eco. So it's the White Rose Gold. And then what I have in here is Robert Oster Thunderstorm, which has been one of my biggest surprise inks. Oh, and what size nib do I have in here? I have a medium nib. So I do actually have quite a few mediums, even though you haven't seen them yet. This next one that I'm going to do is also a medium. So this is the Eco in clear. This is one of their standard colors. So this is the clear. And this also has a medium nib. And this one has Diamine Oxblood, which is one of the very first inks that I ever purchased and is really still one of my favorites. I really love this red. It's a beautiful red. And then we have the pink Eco, which I think is still available in some places. You may even be able to get it directly from TWSBI. I'm going to move this up just a little bit so that you can see more here. So this is the pink, and this is a fine nib again. It seems like I have the most of the fine nibs. This is a platinum lavender black. And this is an Oxgall ink, and I have had that in this ever since I purchased it, and have had no ill effects whatsoever, leaving it in there kind of forever. And as you may or may not notice, it gets a little darker the longer it's been on the page, which is really nice. Okay, and then this is the last Eco. This is this purple one, which is, I'm kind of on a purple kick this year. So this is one of, and so are a lot of companies, it seems. But this is my latest and probably my last eco. So this is the purple demo. And I'm still not too happy with this one. This is an extra fine nib, and it just seems to, I mean, this extra fine up here was great. Didn't really have any issues with it from the beginning. This one just feels like, you know, I feel like there's a little bit of drag on the paper. And this ink is Kobe number 57, which is also known as Hydrangea. And you can kind of hear it on the paper. So I'm going to need to work on this one a little bit more. I haven't really invested in special nibs for the ecos, partially because when you take the nibs out, I'll show you what happened to one where I took it out. I tried to put a different nib on this and it didn't actually end up working. I ended up smoothing it to be to my liking, but this is what happened to the feed when I replaced it. The feed can get a little smushed because the feed is actually very, very fragile. And so I've decided not to do that with any other pens. It has not affected the effectiveness of the pen or how it writes at all. So I've kind of left it be. And I could always try and get a new feed if I needed one. But I just kind of left that because I didn't want to be pulling the nib in and out. And so I don't pull the nibs in and out when I clean either, because I don't want them to get all weird and damaged like that. So, okay, so let's go on to the second row of pens. I'm going to have to move this a little bit so that I can get them out of the case easily here. So I'm going to move to the next page. And then these are a variety. So I'll just say what they are when I write down in here. So this is my Vac Mini that I replaced the barrel on, that I got a replacement barrel. I'll actually put the video down below where I talk about replacing the barrel on this and how I did it. And TWSBI's customer service is really amazing. They gave me a replacement body really fast, and it was really quite nice. Okay, I need to move on to my other piece of paper where I have these written down. So this is the Vac Mini. I'm not going to put TWSBI on any other thing. That's just TWSBI, so we know. So this has a medium nib. And technically the color here is smoke gray. Can't really tell much of a difference, I think, from like clear. And then the ink in here is Birmingham, Ohio River. And this is one that I might actually replace the nib on. I'm just not a big fan of this medium nib. It's just, you know, sometimes you get a sort of a dud nib or a nib that doesn't write as well as other nibs. And then this next one, this Vac Iris, this actually, and this does not post really. I mean, you can post it, but you really should be loosening the end. I probably should have done the same for the last one, but there seemed to be enough ink in the reservoir. For all Vac pens, you really should be untwisting the back a little bit because it pulls a little piston area here back so that the ink can flow. So this is the Vac 700R Iris, which, since I've smoothed the nib, is beautiful. With nibs with special finishes, I was a little bit afraid to do that, but this has turned out okay. In fact, now it's beautiful and smooth. But I was a little afraid at first to do it just because I didn't want to get rid of the coating. But as long as I go on the bottom and don't do the other side on my smoothing materials, it's fine. So this ink is Waterman Tender Purple, which has become one of my favorites. Really love it. And then usually when I store it, I screw that back part back on. And I just realized that I didn't actually, do this, and I'll pull it back and show you how I should have done it to begin with. Should have unscrewed that a little bit and then screwed the back on. You do get a better ink flow, because basically if you don't do that, you're just operating with whatever's in the feed there. And this is a lovely Birmingham ink. Okay, so I always screw when I store it back in there. So then this Diamine 580 has a very interesting nib on it. And the Diamine 580s can post, but they're a little awkward posted. For one thing, they're very long, so I have been leaving that off. So this is, I've forgotten the company name. I will put a link down below to where I got this nib, but it is a specialty grind nib, which is called the Bad Boy with Wings. And it just came as, you know, like a screw-in unit for any of these Diamine 580 full-size pens. And it is cursive italic in shape, and then it also has a little bit of flex because of the cutouts here. And by flex, I mean like very, very little. It's more like a soft nib. So this is the Diamine 580. So it kind of writes like a cursive italic here. And this is the purple. And this nib is a Bad Boy with Wings. And again, I will put a link down below to the company name for where I got that. And so the ink in here is interesting. So it is, originally it was Sailor Nekoyanagi, but it got tainted by the ink that was in a, in another nib that I had on here before. Oh, so, and Mystery ink, which is blue. So this one is kind of interesting. So you can get a little bit of softness going that way. You're going to get a little bit of line variation. And I don't think I've really figured out how to use this nib to its full effect yet. And it is a little sharp. I don't want to say it's scratchy, but it is a little sharp when using it. And then all the rest of these are just standard nibs. So I'd have to say that this is probably my favorite TWSBI. This followed by the Vac Iris, I would say, are my two favorites. This is the Prussian Blue Diamine 580. And it has a very fine nib on it. And then this ink combination is also one of my favorite combos. This is Organics Studios, Aldous Huxley. And again, you can get a little bit of line variation, but I love this pen and ink combo. Love it. If I do end up getting rid of some of my TWSBIs, that will be one that I will not get rid of. Okay, and then this is the 580 Smoke Rose Gold version. And so this is the Diamine 580. Oh, this does have a special nib on it. Smoke Rose Gold. And this has a medium Architect's nib from Mark Bacchus. AKA a nib grinder. And it is lovely. I really love this nib. I really should use it more than I do. This ink that's in here is Robert Oster. And it really shines with the block lettering. So this would be one that I would also not get rid of. And I actually have a second Smoke Rose Gold that I let my husband use. I've totally forgot about that one. Okay, and then this is the Diamine Mini This is the white rose gold version. And so this is the Diamine Mini. And again, I don't know if it's the smoke rose gold coating, but it has a really nice feel when I write with it. This is the white rose gold, and this is a medium nib. And this ink is Diamine Fire Embers, which I'm also really liking. And this case did actually stain the white a little bit. I haven't tried with any kind of cleaner because I don't want to damage the pen. But the elastic color did kind of come off on the white here. Not sure why that happened, but it did. Okay, and then this is my Diamine Mini in gold, which I purchased secondhand. And this has a gold ink in it that I don't really know what it is. And I've been hesitant to take it out because I think it matches the pen really well, but it does sometimes clog a little bit in gold with an extra fine nib. And the ink actually, I don't know which brand it is even, but so I'm not even going to say, but this is a nameless gold shimmer ink, but it works really well with this extra fine nib, but it does sometimes clog. So it has a gold color and a gold shimmer in it. And then this next one I've also had a few issues with because, oh, and this is something that I wanted to show you that is a problem. So this little O-ring does often come off of this area here when I slide it into the case. And that is pretty consistent with all of the O-rings on all of these TWSBIs. So this is the last one. This is the Diamine Mini. Yeah, this one's going to have some trouble. In the mint color. Oops, mint. And this is Emerald of Chicken, J. Herbin. And you see how it's having a little bit of clogging issues because it is trying to get through that. And this is a medium nib. See there, I've kind of resolved the clog, but that does happen when you have shimmer inks. And see, now it's just fine and seems to be working just fine. But sometimes with shimmer inks, you will get that little bit of clogging. Okay, well that is my TWSBI collection, at least the collection that is not being, I'll zoom out a little bit and I'll go back over those 2 pages real quickly. So that is not being used by my husband permanently. I'm essentially considering those his pens now. But here we go. They actually fit quite well in here. I really kind of like this setup, but like I said, I am going to be moving them because I want to have a special dedicated case for my Franklin Christoph pens, which are in are kind of overflowing from its existing area. So here's all the non-ecos, the different kinds of, so I would say higher end TWSBIs, but they're still very reasonably priced. The special editions and the ones in the rose gold are a little bit more expensive, but like I said, I do find that the nibs are smoother on those. So you do get a little bit in addition to just the aesthetics there. And then these are all the ecos. All right, well, that's all I had for you today. I tried to get in under a half hour and I just managed to do it. So feel free to subscribe to keep track of future videos on my channel. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like. I hope to see you next time, but in the meantime, have a great day. Thanks so much. Bye.